changing the dynamics of Indian higher education and institutional preparation. For the same, I would like to request Vivek Atray, ex-IAS advisor and professor, Shoolini University, Solan, to please come on the stage. Next, we have Dr. Madhu Chitkara, Pro-Chancellor, Chitkara University. I would like to request ma'am to please come on the stage. Next, we have Kanwar Tushar, Punj, Pro-Chancellor, Sri Sai University. A big round of applause for sir. Professor Dr. Keshav Sharma, Vice-Chancellor, ICFAI University. Can we have a big round of applause for our inaugural session? I would like to request Vivek Atray, ex-IAS advisor and professor, Shoolini University, to please come on the dais and address the gathering. A big round of applause for sir.
Good morning and a warm welcome to everyone. It's always a joy to be with Dr. Madhu Chitkara on the stage because she has been my teacher. More accurately, her husband has been my teacher, but the teacher's wife is, and she's the Vice Chancellor, is even more important. And Ashok ji is a very calm and cool individual, relaxed rehte hain. So he's learning Chinese, I believe? So done Chinese, okay. So he's the topper of Chinese in India. And good to see Keshav Sharma ji and, Tushar. So I have actually come from Bombay last night. I was speaking there. I'm going to another event today. But this is an important event where we discuss the state of higher education and the changing dynamics. Many of you are personally known. My greetings to you all. And nice to see you. And Elets has been organizing these conferences for, I think, over 15 years, and I have been a part of them when I was with the service, having spoken at IT-related conferences at least 4 or 5 times. So this Education Innovation Summit is very, very important in today's context. Now, I'm also an educationist these days. After resigning from IAS, I travel and I speak to educators and to students, and corporates as well, and government as well. But 3 points I want to present before you in this inaugural note. I won't speak for long because there are many things to do, and ma'am will also speak, Sharma ji will speak, Tushar will speak. And the one thing that matters, the first thing I'd like to present before you is that even with technology taking over and innovation taking over, what is really basically the key factor for the success of education is the human factor. We are living in the era of AI, and we will soon have this phone embedded in our wrists. It will become a part of your body. I know all those who are above 45 are feeling a bit scared of that, but the younger people are ready for it. And nobody's above 45 in this hall, we're all younger, right? The point is that this technology is going to sweep and continue to sweep the world. What matters is if we can retain the human element, the relationships, the warmth, the emotional intelligence, the leadership, the kind of qualities that bring out the best in our colleagues. All people in this hall are leaders. Now, leaders have to bring out the best in their colleagues, in their teams, in those who are around them. Not by virtue of what they do, but by virtue of what they are. Parents also have to be role models for their children, not telling them do this, do this, do this. They have to enact what they say that they have to do, which is very difficult in today's era, because unfortunately the kids are on Instagram and the parents are also on Instagram. And the grandparents are on Facebook, as far as I know. So when we are embedded in the social media to that extent, our conversations suffer. Even, I mean, it's good to be connected to your classmates on WhatsApp, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, thank you, thank you, thank you. But that phone call is gone. Because of the group and because of chat, we don't talk. We don't meet. And if we meet and engage over a cup of coffee, it is much more stimulating, invigorating, and much more meaningful than if we are only in technology. So the human element is the part one, that we need to cultivate in ourselves those human qualities and in the people who are coming forward to be part of higher education in the future. Number two is the system. Now, I know a few things about the system, having been in the system. And when I say system, it means the government. And when I say system, it also means the higher education system as a whole. Now, I am part of some jury which is going to decide awards for principals, pan-India. And I told them that, individuals can be only as good as the system allows them to be. Individuals do matter. In every situation, individuals matter. A different individual can make an impact in the same system. Newness, freshness, innovative ideas. We're talking about innovation here. But how can we streamline, improve, and leanify, if I may use the word, the system, which is very heavy, overweight, like an elephant which doesn't move. We need to streamline the system. Now, systems can be streamlined where? In our own jurisdiction. If you ask me to change the government of India's way of working or the government of Haryana, or Punjab or Himachal, neither I nor anyone on this planet can do that very easily. When I say anyone, I mean anyone. No one can do it. You can only make incremental improvements. And there's a book called Atomic Habits, which is very popular nowadays, by James Clear, who says incremental changes matter. Atomic changes, small changes. So even in the system, we don't overhaul the system. A new education policy is not going to overhaul the system. It will happen in pockets. Implementation is very difficult. I can speak a lot on policy and implementation and the gap, but it's not the time for that. So whatever changes we can make in our own jurisdiction, in the system, they also matter. Even if we introduce incentives and awards for outstanding teachers on a monthly basis or staff, it is a systemic change, because this kind of system was not there earlier, supposing. All these Pizza Hut and all Hot Millions, they started employee of the month for photo lagi hoti hai na wahan pe. For the last 10 years or so, you may have seen, or 15 years. I don't see in many institutions any employee of the month photograph when I go in. In some I do, in some I don't. So those who are incentivizing their human wear by changing the system a little bit. And the system can also mean the speed of delivery, the ease of doing business, which is another sector altogether. And the third part is the youth. Who are we teaching? Now, yesterday the Haryana government has taken a very far-reaching decision to merge certain departments. And although there is a saying कि कंबल को आप छोड़ दो पर कंबल आपको छोड़ता नहीं है. So I have left the government, but the government doesn't leave. So I keep getting these things, and I am also part of some advisory roles. So they have merged departments, which makes things a little easier. Skill development and youth welfare have been merged, which makes sense, because youth without skills is not meaningful. So we need to focus on what does the youth need. And today the youth is under tremendous pressure. And we are all creating that pressure. I don't mean we all, maybe people outside this hall are creating the pressure. Why should even one youth commit suicide in Kota? And there are dozens of them, maybe more than we know. Why are we creating that pressure of marks, competitions, IITs, etc.? Why cannot we make that youth live a young life as it should be led, without that pressure? So we need to focus on that. What does he or she need, or she or he need to move forward? These are the three aspects which I flagged, where we need innovative leadership. Ultimately, it's about leadership. Ultimately, it's about you all in this hall who matter. If we improve our way of working, then we will do very well. So, Iqbal, I see one over there. That means 1 minute left or 1 hour left, or what does it mean? Anyway, I am done with my speech. A little bit of humor is always good, and a little bit of smiles are always good. I spoke a TEDx talk the other day on smiling. The theme was smiling. So mine was cheerfulness is the magic mantra. There were about 10 speakers on smiling. So I wrote cheerfulness is the magic mantra. So cheerful energy we need. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Madhu Chitkara, Pro-Chancellor, Chitkara University. A big round of applause for ma'am.
Thank you, Elets, for giving me this opportunity. And it's always very difficult, Vivek, to speak after you. So next time I will request the organizers that first should be my speech and then yours, because then it becomes very difficult. Always the student becomes, if he is better than you, then it's your achievement. So I am very proud of me and my husband, very proud of ourselves that our mentor is doing better than us. So this is the achievement. I think NEP says this. So National Education Policy 2020, when it came, it was pandemic, and I think we all were worried that ye kya baat hui? Pandemic mein pehle hum dukhi, and then you have started with the new policy, which came after 34 years. First of all, I must appreciate the people here from 22? क्या एज है आपकी? 26 का लग नहीं रहा. So 26 to I think I am the oldest one, 68. So 22 to 68 people are sitting here, and you will be getting the message from the young leaders to the people like us, those who have been in this industry for the last 48 years. So I think this is a journey. I saw the last national education policy, which was in '84. And when I was comparing the 34 years of this journey, that what all changes are there. So if all of you have gone through the policy, and I think maximum people are here from school education and from higher education also, sir, my colleagues and very respectable members of our fraternity are there from different universities. So NEP, when we were talking, so the government has given us the mandate to implement it, and out of that, 12 or 14 regulations and the recommendations are already in pipeline, which is a mandate for us to follow. So we have started implementing it, and it's a great and very huge task for us to do. So this is the best part of this is that, and every day we are on different platforms discussing that how to do it. It will be my request that first of all, here sitting in this room, first we should try to collaborate with the higher education leaders to collaborate with school education leaders, and school education leaders to collaborate with higher education leaders. Reason being that there is one of the component where they are saying that higher education institutes have to handhold the school education. And why it is so? You see that in higher education, our industry is that our students are going to be placed in the industry. So we are talking to the industry that after doing engineering, they will be going to different technical institutes, and after doing hospitality, they will be going to the hotel industry. But what about the industry for school education? For school education, the industry is the higher education. So they are saying there is a gap. So when the students from school education is coming to higher education, what is the pain is that first they have to unlearn the system which they were doing it in school education, because there is no connect. So in national education policy, it's so beautifully done that they say that there should be a cluster of educational institutes where some schools, some colleges, some universities, they all should work together to implement this policy. So first thing, I think here you just start collaborating with each other, and collaboration, collaboration and collaboration. वो हमने एक picture देखी थी ना, उसमें क्या था, entertainment, entertainment and entertainment was the this thing. But here the collaboration, collaboration and collaboration is the mantra for NEP 2020, and we should start working on it. The second thing is that they are saying that work on interdisciplinary approach. So I will request all the school leaders that they should start working on it. In our higher education, if the student is doing engineering, they can have any of the credit, any of the module, even from hospitality, even from media. And for that, what they have done is, they have created ABC. हम लोग करते थे accelerator, brake and clutch. So when I learned my car driving, तो वो मेरे natural बात है, ladies के लिए husband सिखाते हैं, and very sorry the men sitting here, it's very difficult to learn driving from your husband or from your son or from your father, because वो कहेंगे ये शीशा नहीं देखा. मेरी को जब लड़ाई क्या होती थी, right hand वो वाला देखो बाहर वाला, मैं बाहर देखने लगती थी तो कहते थे accident हो जाएगा, see this. So that was very difficult. So I learned that ABC. Accelerator, brake and clutch. So brake पे clutch ना चला जाए, clutch पे brake. So that was always a tension for me also. The same word, same knowledge is given through NEP, that there should be ABC. It should be Academic Bank of Credit. That there should be a bank-like thing where all the credits, whatever they have done, that will be in your bank. And that academic bank will give the credit to the students if they are placed. Even engineering student can be placed in hospitality, hospitality student can be placed in media. Media student, now for example, we have one example sitting here in case of Vivek, that he is a hardcore engineer. He is a good cricketer. बहुत खेलते हैं. हमारी जो फर्स्ट कॉलेज का T20 हुआ, and still Vivek, it is happening, and you should come on Sunday to see the finals. So T20 2002 we started with the first match with Vivek and Mohit. So I think he is an engineer, but by passion he is a great cricketer, and the next passion he is a good speaker, he is a good orator, he is a motivation speaker, and educationist also. So you see that what NEP is a great example of him is an NEP, that in NEP you have to have all the skills. And for that, I request all the EdTech companies sitting here, I think Amit was there. So they say that now, after seeing pandemic, you have to be digitally very, very strong. Very strong means very strong, because it can be the knowledge, whatever education you are getting, it is anywhere for anybody and anytime. It's not only in the formal system of education that you are sitting in a classroom situation and formally two-part method, जैसे हमारे time पे होता था ना कि teacher is there and he is an idealistic and he is teaching you, and so no thought process is going two ways. So now it is three-way. So they say that NEP 2020 came at the time when EdTech companies were there, many companies. Yesterday, some of us were there in, Hashi was there, and I think many of us were there in SHM meeting in Delhi. And yesterday night, we all reached at 11:30 back Chandigarh. So we all were discussing that there is so much to do, and technology-wise, if anybody has done any course through MOOC, or any module through distance education, or any module through any of the technology, for example, Coursera, edX, any program, any platform you take, and just give the credit of that course into your ABC, put it there, and when they are going for the passing out the degree, along with it, those credits will be given to them. So now if we want to migrate from one organization to another, seeing those credits, the child will be evaluated. So beautifully done. And I think, and the second point which they have focused in NEP is that you have to give the in-house training or in-house training sessions for your leaders. Leaders are the teachers. And for that, it is the responsibility of us all sitting here that all the faculty members, we are here in this hall, we will learn so much. Next time you give the responsibility somebody else, very junior, take them with you into these type of functions, these type of interactions, so that indirectly they should also learn something. And the leader should only not to teach in a class. आपने देखा होगा जब when it was pandemic and all of a sudden, I think 22nd March, we all shifted from offline mode to online mode. It was so difficult. And some of them were very scared of going in front of the camera. And you see that you were the king and the queen of your class. Nobody was observing you, nobody was seeing you. But overnight, the parents, the society can observe your lessons. This was very scary. And must appreciate the efforts of all the teachers, all the educational leaders, those who took this challenge and they overnight changed. So I think we all should pat ourselves, and there should be a round of applause for all of us that it was not declared 0 year and we all were the winners. And in India, with the 135 crores of the population, it was so smooth sailing. And people were saying that US was saying, UK was saying, we were very good in technology, and they all failed. But in spite of not having technology in the rural background, they also were not able to have any problems. So I think NEP came at a time, and we all should commit here that take all the components of it, start working on it, try to implement it, you will get very good outcomes, and that is my suggestion. And we at Chitkara University are very open for hand-holding the schools, and we are still doing it. We hand-holded our school, Chitkara International School. So we have one in Chandigarh, one in Panchkula. So what we started doing is Tech 8 curriculum was developed with our technology professors in the university. And it happened last 10, 12 years back. And the results were that now some of the students of this school have got the patents. Some of them have got the space in the incubation centers, and they are getting the seed money. So you also come, and you just be the nearest cluster universities and colleges, request them that your school students should visit the universities which is their industry. So thank you for Elets giving me this opportunity, and it's always good to talk to the fellow teachers, because I am basically a teacher, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such wonderful words with some wonderful examples. Next, we have Kanwar Tushar Punj, Pro-Chancellor, Sri Sai University. I would like sir to please come on this dais. A big round of applause for sir.
A very good morning to all. I think it's a brilliant day today that we have all gathered here in this wonderful arrangements done by Elets. I would first of all give them a huge thanks that we are all gathered here for this great event. On this stage, I think I'm the youngest among the panelists. All of them are my very respected ma'am, Chitkara ma'am, Vijay sir, and the Vice Chancellor of ICFAI University. So what I'm going to touch is, since I'm the young one, I'll try to give the young perspective of what higher education institutes are demanding, what are the challenges we are facing, and what innovation steps we are taking in the coming time. And when I talk about new education policy, the new education policy, I think this is the world's largest innovation in higher education domain, which is happening all around. When I talk about the largest, the biggest, it's why it is biggest, because India has got so much population. We are in the leading, we have got the number of students studying, we are the largest. The people who have been dropping out every year, we have also got a lot of people to address them. A lot of people who are in their mid-careers and now they want to accelerate their programs. There also we have got a huge market, our teachers, our school domain. So this is something very big to address, and I think new education policy has got a lot of things to touch. Today I would mainly touch 3-4 points, because as my seniors have said, we need to implement this all phase by phase. But today I'm going to touch 3-4 points, and my agenda for 3-4 points is that how are we going to do in higher education space? First is that being into higher education space, giving the scientific touch to a lot of things is the need of the hour. When I do, yeah, no problem. Yeah, okay, sir, no problem. So when we talk about scientific touch, a lot of undergraduate programs, what we are running now, has to go with a lot of scientific touch. Our UG programs in our system, there are a lot of reports and a lot of internship programs which happens. A thorough check has to be there. And I think one point which is very important is what all reports have been submitted, all the quality of the research they are doing. This is our responsibility to touch that scientific temperament has to be there. And one more thing which is which was a point for discussion, that higher education institutes will become autonomous in the coming years. When we talk about autonomous, India being so many, there are so many colleges, there are so many institutes, but the government of India is saying in next 10 years there would be very few universities, multidisciplinary higher education institutes who are going to cater around at least minimum 3,000 students in each higher education domain. So when you think about the small colleges, the average size of colleges around 250 or 400 students. But when we talk about big units, so a lot of them have to change their approach. Either they have to make a cluster, as ma'am said, that a small cluster can be made to implement NEP. But when the cluster would be made to implement NEP, and all the institute would have to excel in some or the other domain. Maybe there would be institutes who would be imparting students to become employable and get many good jobs. There would also be some institutes which would only excel in coming time in the research. And also, there would be also some institutes in the coming time which would be only working on breakthrough technologies. I think in India also, if we talk about, there are eminent institutes of India. They are also focusing on very new technologies which are coming into play, and I think this is our also responsibility, that we are also doing a thing. And when we talk about EdTech, I think I would also support few of my panelists that digitally abled is the new hour. When we talk about digitally abled, we all are in this domain. I think a lot of policy makers, decision makers, I would say, are there in this forum. When we talk about technology coming into play into higher education starts right from a thought coming into their mind of looking for a course or looking for a particular school, and also looking for a job prospect. So technology comes right at that moment till the time students graduates. They spend their time in their universities, they also spend their time in colleges. So now technology is something right from taking admission, you have to go till the end of the alumni or the degree program, convocation program. This is the technology which is coming into play, and I think what I have learned from last 2-3 years in my domain, the technology is readily available everywhere, but we also need to make sure that is that technology going to help me in this domain, because every technology is going to come with a cost, and that cost should not be at, we should be able to use that cost to give the maximum output. So when I talk about plagiarism softwares, I also talk about lead management software, I also talk about the giving teaching remotely to the students, making e-learning content. So a lot of planning should come into picture, because being into higher education domain, we happen to interact with a lot of people day in, day out, and working on small steps, making small strategies, and then making a roadmap for like next 2 years, how NEP can implement with this. So this is a technology, something really going to help us. And one more point which I'm going to raise is that the values of the students has to be touched day in, day out. I think coming from a background, coming from an academic background, all the years, Sri Sai group of institutes and Sri Sai University Palampur, what we have decided to take leap steps in domains which we have not even thought of. We are situated in Palampur, and ma'am, I would take your 1 minute that we have launched a new mountaineering department, and in that department we are giving our students an opportunity to learn about ecotourism, be an eco guide, be geologist, and that's something which is a breakthrough technology we are working on. So this is also part of NEP, which focuses on what we are going to do in the coming future, giving students the right platform. Even if he's studying in engineering domain, he should be able to take electives for humanities, linguistics, pharmacy, or sciences, even in that domain. And I think in the years to come, whatever prism we gaze this opportunity, maybe it's in job seeking or research or making great teachers in this India, we have got a huge responsibility on our shoulders so that we take India to become a Vishwa Guru in the coming time. And I think that's the beauty of NEP, National Education Policy, in the coming years. I'm sure with all of our efforts, with all our seniors who are doing great in this domain, we all will learn from them and try to reach a common goal of making India great and making India Vishwa Guru. Thank you so much for this great opportunity once again.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving the young perspective. Moving ahead, I'd like to invite Professor Dr. Keshav Sharma, Vice Chancellor, ICFAI University, to please come and deliver the address. A big round of applause for sir.
आपकी ऑडियंस के लिए बता दें कि सर ICFAI यूनिवर्सिटी, चितकारा यूनिवर्सिटी एंड साई, इनकी एक यूनिवर्सिटीज़ सबकी हिमाचल में भी है. सो व्हेन वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट, जैसे अभी इसने बोला कि हमने माउंटेनियरिंग शुरू की है, तो इट वाज अ मैंडेट गिवन बाय द रेगुलेटरी बॉडी कि जितनी भी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं सब इनोवेटिव प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट करें. सो वी ऑल स्टार्टेड one प्रोग्राम विच इज़ वेरी इनोवेटिव नेचर, एंड वी ऑल आर्स यूनिवर्सिटी एंड ICFAI इज़ वेरी बैक टू बैक. सो इट वाज अ मैंडेट गिवन बाय, कोई भी ऐसा स्टेट नहीं देता जो हिमाचल स्टेट ने दिया. सो आई थिंक दैट फॉर माउंटेन.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and my greetings to the organizers for organizing this Education Innovation Summit today. My happiness to be with Kamal Kishore ji, Vivek ji, Madam Madhu Chitkara ji, Engineer Kanwar Tushar Punj ji, and also my head bends out of respect before the very senior people like Professor Pravinder and others who are sitting here. So my great respects to all my friends. Actually, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है. हम थोड़े ओल्ड एजुकेशन पॉलिसी वाले लोग हैं. तो जो ओल्ड एजुकेशन पॉलिसी होती थी उसमें एक टाट होता था, एक पेड़ होता था और खुला आसमान होता था. तो उसके नीचे बैठते थे और टीचर के पास एक तूत वाली लकड़ी होती थी और फुटा जो था ना वो सीधा नहीं मारते थे, टेढ़ा मारते थे, और उंगलियों में पेन डाल देते थे। तो हमारी हैंडराइटिंग भी ठीक हुई और हमारी मैनर्स भी ठीक थी और हम पोलाइट भी थे। तो कभी लड़ाई भी हो जाती थी तो माँ बाप बिना इस चीज़ को समझे कि बेटे का कसूर नहीं है, दूसरे का कसूर है, मार फिर भी हमें ही पड़ती थी जाते ही कि भाई तुमने लड़ाई की क्यों। तो अब आजकल न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है, उसमें बच्चा उठता ही 12 बजे है सुबह, उसके बाद वो फिर मोबाइल ले लेता है और पूरा दिन फिर वो मोबाइल में लगा रहता है, तो रात तक लगा रहता है। फिर हम कहते हैं इसको बच्चे को ना डिप्रेशन हो गई है, अब ये ना किसी एंग्जाइटी में है, अब इसकी हमने ना काउंसलिंग करनी है, हमें काउंसलर्स चाहिए, स्कूल में भी, कॉलेज में भी, यूनिवर्सिटी में भी। तो अगर मैं अपने बाप को कभी बोलता था कि कोई डिप्रेशन एक शब्द है, तो उसके बाद मार पक्की, क्योंकि वो कहते थे कि ये शब्द क्या है और ये डिप्रेशन क्या होती है। एनीवे, तो व्हाट एन एप्ट सिलेक्शन of the tracks for the summit. This is NEP 2020, changing the dynamics of Indian higher education and institutional preparation, reskilling and upskilling of the workforce, evaluating role of ed tech in higher education, and enveloping student-centric models of teaching. So my job becomes very easy. ये जो 3 tracks हैं, these are actually the highlights of the new education policy 2020. Now these are actually the intended objectives of the new education policy. These are the highlights of the new education policy. Just to offer you a perspective of the size of the Indian higher education market, in 2020, there were 1,000 universities and about 42,000 to 44,000 colleges, about 8 to 9,000 centers of excellence, and there are 4 crore or 40 million students who are into the system. The primary and only thing that we need are top-tier technological projects that would bridge the gap between facilities and academic resources. Education has long been at the forefront of the technological adoption, and we all saw this in COVID, new technologies, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data-driven marketing, predictive behavioral analytics are all set to take over the world of higher education and provide better pinpointed learning for the students. The Indian ed-tech industry is growing tremendously and is estimated to reach USD $10.4 billion by 2025 with 3.7 crore paid education technology users. Over the past 5 years, the sector has raised about $4 billion in private investment. Global technology leaders as Byju's valued at $15 billion, and the other players such as Unacademy, Upgrade, Vedantu, size of $700 million to $800 million in 2021, and it is likely to go to $30 billion in the next 10 years. Introducing technology which allows for dispersal and digitally optimized experiences beyond online learning and bring new tools to the students who can use scheduling software to book study rooms, and faculty also can use standardization software that creates one platform when presenting to a group. Beyond breaching physical boundaries, There are opportunities to students in remote and rural areas who can learn, and then broadening access to educational resources for distributed learners, more diverse educational experience for young people of India. So, having said this, I will flag the main issues, which is actually my topic. So, the digitization of the education system, the skill development and entrepreneurship, linkages with the industry, employability of the students, continuous innovation, which means innovate, innovate, and innovate. And we have to change. Why? Because we will not be able to survive as status quoists. There will be dual degrees, there will be multiple entries, and as Madam Madhu said, the academic bank of credits, flexibility in the curriculum, choice making by the students, and out of these 42 to 44,000 colleges and 1,000 universities and 8,000 to 900 centers of excellence, only the best will survive. Not only this, with MPhil gone, a new focus on the doctoral programs. We have to increase the gross enrollment ratio in higher education from 26% to 50%. There's going to be a 4 years multidisciplinary bachelor's program. First year is a certificate course. Second year is an advanced diploma program. Third year is a bachelor's degree. And fourth year is a bachelor's degree with research. A challenging point would be a cap in the fees to be charged by the private institutions. We have to increase the GDP percentage for education. In fact, we'll be increasing it from 4.4% to 6%. There'll be emphasis on the mother tongue, the activity-based learning. There'll be internships, and there'll be a 5+3+3+4 pattern. So the issues which need flagging, besides, there'll be institutional restructuring and reconsolidation, wherein I said that of this whole range of the institutions which are existing, probably only 15,000 would live. There'll be 3 types of institutions, where in type 1, research will be the focus and then teaching. Type 2, where teaching will be the focus and then research. And type 3, where undergraduate programs will be there with high quality teaching. There'll be high quality liberal education, which means the transformation of the society to a class of dynamic, productive and thoughtful citizens. There'll be a flexible curricular structure, which again means that it will be a liberal curriculum with a creative combination of disciplines and multiple points of entry and exit, as I've already submitted. Flexibility in the master's program. Type 1, a 2-year master's program with the second year entirely for research. Type 2, a 1-year program offered to students who have successfully completed a 4-year undergraduate degree program with honors. And type 3 master's program, wherein we will have a 5-year integrated master's program. As have already said, MPhil is gone, it is discontinued, and therefore the eligibility for PhD will be a master's program or a 4-year undergraduate program with honors. There'll be a conducive learning environment, which means that curriculum optimization will be there for ensuring a joyful, rigorous, engaging, responsive, and effective pedagogical environment that fosters the overall development of the students. There'll be open learning and internationalization of education, which means expanding distance education program by increasing the gross enrollment ratio to 50%. There'll be institutional collaboration and mobility of students and the faculty. There'll be the empowered faculty with the desired teacher-student ratio of 1:30. There'll be FDPs. There'll be adequate and empowered faculty. In fact, there will have to be. And there'll be empowered governance and autonomy, which means academic, administrative, and financial autonomy to be provided to the higher education institutions. There'll be no affiliations. There'll be independent boards. And there'll be transformation of the regulatory system so that the regulatory powers don't vest in one institution. There'll be the National Education Regulatory Authority to regulate higher and professional education. There'll be UGC, which will be rechristened as Higher Education Grants Council, responsible for funding. There'll be the General Education Council for outcome-based education. And of course, there'll be NAC, which will be responsible for the assessment and accreditation of the institutions. And above all, there'll be the Rashtriya Shiksha Ayog, which is called as the National Education Commission, which will be headed by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, and which will be the custodian of the vision of education in India. The more you read the new Education Policy 2020 document, the more you discover. But may I submit that education is a very tough and a very sensitive subject, and we cannot make any mistakes. Structural changes are very difficult to be made. It's very easy to say, but very difficult to do. Why? Because the new education policy, or for that purpose, any education policy, it hits every home of India. And I'm reminded of one couplet by Muzaffar Razmi Saab, who says, "ये जबर भी देखा है तारीख की नज़रों ने, यह जबर भी देखा है तारीख की नज़रों ने, लम्हों ने खता की थी, सदियों ने सज़ा पाई।" तो बड़े ध्यान से चलना है, और कहना बड़ा आसान है, और इतनी ये बात कहना कि जो 44,000 यूनिवर्सिटियाँ हैं, कॉलेजेस हैं सॉरी, और जो 1,000 यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं, और जो 8,000 से 9,000 सेंटर्स ऑफ एक्सीलेंस हैं, उनको हम कंसोलिडेट कर देंगे और उनके 15,000 बना देंगे। मैं सिनिकल नहीं हूँ, मैं क्विटिंग में भी बिलीव नहीं करता, मैं भागने में यकीन नहीं रखता, बिकॉज मैंने अपनी पूरी उम्र यही सीखा है कि व्हेन थिंग्स गो रॉन्ग, एज दे समटाइम्स विल, व्हेन द रोड यू आर ट्रीडिंग seems all uphill, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but never quit. So stick to the fight when you are hardest hit. It is when things seem worst that you must never quit. मैं क्विटिंग में यकीन नहीं रखता हूँ, पर फिर एक बात कुल मिला के मेरे जैसे और आप जैसे लोगों के लिए यही है, और जो हम सिखाते हैं कि जैसे हमने दुनिया को एक्वायर किया था, हमने उससे बेहतर दुनिया छोड़ के जाना है। और इस करके मेरा कंक्लूजन कि किसको पता था किसको खबर थी, किसको पता था किसको खबर थी, ऐसे भी दिन आएंगे, जीना भी मुश्किल होगा और मरने भी ना पाएंगे। हम जैसे बर्बाद दिलों का जीना क्या और मरना क्या, आज तेरी महफिल से उठे कल दुनिया से उठ जाएंगे। सो we promise, and we should take a vow, and we should all promise that we will leave this world better than how we acquired it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for setting the energy so high. Now, I would like to request Abhishek Toma, Senior Manager, Elets Technomedia, to please come on the stage and give token of memento to our wonderful panelist. A big round of applause for Dr. Madhu Chitkara, Pro-Chancellor, Chitkara University. Engineer Kanwar Tushar Punj, Pro Chancellor Sri Sai University. Can we have a round of applause, please? Professor Dr. Keshav Sharma, Vice Chancellor, ICFAI University. A big round of applause for sir. Now I would like to request our panelists to please launch our specially curated magazine. A big round of applause, please. The Digital Learning in Asia and Middle East premier monthly magazine on innovation in education focusing on ICT, published since 2005 in print and online format. The magazine raises awareness about how ICT is enhancing the scope and quality of education. Over the years, the magazine has earned an unmatchable recognition for itself, offering a 360-degree perspective of the education landscape while touching almost all segments and industry stakeholders.